So Dylan, man, I know you're a big car guy. Dude, your collection of cars is sick, bro. I mean,
I have no room.
dude, I could just be out there for hours just looking at each one, the different interiors, the different engines. It's like cars just like since I was a child, man, it's just have been my passion. So you have so many different cars. Which car, I mean, I don't know which one to talk about first. We want to talk about the Rolls or the Aston or the Bentley. I mean, out of all the cars, which one's your favorite?
Well, mine, of course.
Yeah. So tell the people about your car. I know you got the Aston.
I'm probably the least impressive of all of them. It's not the newest. It's not the fastest. It's not the most expensive. But I happen to have a YouTube channel too where I do cars. I told you, shameless plug. If cars could talk,
it'd be the link in the description.
But I don't know. What I love about it is it's everyone goes on about analog, and I know it's like kind of a cliche word that everyone uses, but it's a manual transmission. It's got the formula. It's got the rear wheel drive. It's naturally aspirated. Hydraulic steering. It's completely analog, and that involvement just makes it never boring. It's I feel like I can really use the power band. It sounds so incredible. It's so visceral. I feel treated every time I get in front of the wheel. I've now 71,000 miles on it, and I'm proud of that. It's important to never be a slave to your possessions, never, to enjoy them, and that for sure is my favorite car.
Because the engagement with the car, I feel like you're actually, the car's not driving itself. You have to drive the car.
Exactly. You feel like a hero. Like when I'm driving, I feel like James Bond.
Yeah.
Like it transforms you. It takes you to another place. And I love that about cars. Every time we take something away, like a manual transmission, hydraulic steering, rear wheel drive, all these types of things, I feel like you're taking a feature off someone's face.
Yeah, I agree.
The more features you have, the more personality something has. And now today we're obviously going to the point where we're electric. There's nothing really there, and it has a personality in its own right. But we're taking away the souls of, I think, these cars.
So what made you pick that particular model of the Aston Martin, and what model is it for the people?
Sorry, it's an Aston Martin V8 Vantage.
Okay.
And I don't know. When I actually got it when I was 22. And I probably was essentially living in it because I'm an idiot, and I don't know. I went to what I was passionate about, but I don't know. I found it was a good buy on the market at the time.
Okay.
And I don't know. We all grow up watching James Bond, man, and like
James Bond's always been an icon.
Yeah, dude. It's just like that. I don't know. We all wanted I wanted a piece of that, and what I found is that I literally. I'm in love with this car. Like, not in a weird way, where you have these, like, maybe in a weird way, but, I've sometimes women were like, do you like me more than the car?
No.
I'm like, can we talk about this later, sweetheart? I can't hear the car.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go on about the other Aston?
Yeah. So what model's the other Aston, and what can you tell me about that?
So my brother doesn't have an original bone in his body, and he and he copied my one. No, but he got the new version of mine, much faster. Sounds like it's eating small children.
Oh, wow.
It snarls. It's like incredible. He got it in black. It's like all murdered out. It's super cool. And the difference with this, which mine does lack, is technology.
Okay.
I've like the infotainment center from like a Volvo because Aston was so small and they shared all the parts. So this car is finally a refined car. It does everything you need. You can take it on long journeys.
Okay.
But it still has that James Bond feel, and it also has that involvement. Because honestly, you could kill yourself in that thing.
Is it paddle shifter?
Yeah, it's paddle shifters, over 500 horsepower, and it's a twin turbo instead of the naturally aspirated. But obviously, that offers its own benefits. So.
Yeah, acceleration and everything. And then so moving to your pops, man. He's got the Rolls out there, man. What's up with the Rolls? How do you like that?
Well, my dad's the problem because he as I said. He got us into watches, cars, cigars, pens, all the expensive stuff that usually breaks. And no, he from growing up, first of all, he was always a Porsche guy. So I know our garage is kind of like British and like giant, like it's just giant cars. But we really grew up with like sports cars, Porsches, like. And for the longest time, I'd always go to like the car dealerships here and drool in the windows and look at these Rolls Royce and go, how could someone get something like that? Like, how could someone have something? Like, it's crazy to look at, like, to imagine someone driving and owning a car like that. And we were lucky enough to like somehow get one. Not one, but two actually. We have a Phantom, which is not there. It's in place as the Flying Spur, and we'll go on in that second.
Okay.
Phantom is, I think, the most iconic thing ever. It's purple, red pinstripes. The other Rolls Royce here is somehow even more flashy because it's a convertible with orange interior.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
Hermes, whatever color, but Rolls Royce did it first. Actually, quick fun fact. All the leather that Hermes and Louis Vuitton and all of them use are scraps from Rolls Royce's leather.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
I know Rolls Royce is known for its leather, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing comparable.
It's great. Yeah, it's soft. It's like a baby's bottom.
Yeah.
It's just like the softest
And it lasts for
thing.
years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could take a Rolls from the 70s, man, and its leather is still there.
Dude, I know, 100%. It's actually crazy. And that's what you don't realize when you buy quality. It's like buying a nice pair of leather shoes. You can always treat it and bring it back to life. It's always there. It's organic.
That's right.
A lot of these cars, they're all falling apart.
Yeah, there's no quality compliance. I mean, it's almost like when I was talking with your dad about how he compared the Flying Spur to the Phantom, he said there's not a comparison. I'm like, what are you talking? They're both expensive cars. They're both British luxury. And then he broke down the experience, as far as when you ride in the car and just how it makes you feel and, what they engineered into the car and the aluminum that they use. And it's like a lot of people, they see a car on the internet and they think, oh, that car's expensive and I'm going to get that car. It has this horsepower. They don't really know the car.
Or people think it's stupid that it's expensive. They're like, why is it that much?
Yeah, they have no idea.
And I think it's a fair question, but I don't know, as much, I think the way I always phrase it is as much R&D money effort that supercar companies put into making cars super fast, that same amount of effort will put into making these cars quiet, luxurious, and soft.
No, I totally agree. I went to Enterprise to rent a car for a trip, man, because I was gonna purchase a car, and dude, I'm like, after you drive a nice car, and I haven't driven a Rolls, I've been in a Bentley, but I could see it's a totally different ride. I mean, literally, I couldn't imagine a young kid driving like a Hyundai, and that thing is literally shaking all over the road, and it's just a different experience, man. So I can totally agree with that on a smaller level.
Well, you better take it for a ride.
Yeah, I mean, it's like night and day. And then you said, so that, what is the convertible again?
Sorry, I'm jumping around. It's that's called the Dawn. Okay,
so the Dawn. So tell me about the Dawn. I don't really know a whole lot about it because I don't really know a lot about Rolls except for the Phantom.
The Dawn, it's amazing. I would say that the Phantom's a better car. I think it's better made. But I think the Dawn it's the epitome of we've made it type of thing. You feel like
the Dawn is just a statement, bro. That's like,
it's insane. And that's the other thing. We never thought we could ever get a new Rolls Royce. That's crazy. And that's all testament to my dad. I mean, it's amazing. And just to tell the audience, because you're saying we look on the internet cars and we have a great appreciation for these things, mainly because the way we were brought up and the way my dad looks at stuff, maybe being an architect, having OCD, ADD, everything he was saying, his frame of reference and just where he came from. And my dad came from nothing. And we've been fortunate, but he's passed on kind of this insight to us. So, I mean, there are countless times that we've sat in the garage and just sat in the car and just been like, whoa, look at this and this. And that's the only time when you're doing that stuff, when you realize that there's light shining on the ground, and then you go look underneath the door, and then there's a chrome frame around the light that no one would ever see. And that's the stuff that you don't get unless you just take your time with it and enjoy the car. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
No. That's, I mean, I like hearing about all these different details, and I think, man, your dad, bro, is one of the coolest dudes. And then talking with him, I could sit here and talk with him for hours.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why you're talking to me.
The way he breaks stuff down and having that. And for a lot of you guys out there, I know you haven't been exposed to maybe certain things. So you think, oh man, blah, 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 blah. And once you actually have an opportunity and you start really looking at these things, and like you said, man, you guys, it wasn't like somebody handed you anything. You came over here, you immigrated from South Africa, and you worked your ass off, man, and look where you're at now. So why not treat yourself, man? Because it's like you said, it's like your dad, you get in the car and it's an experience, man. It's like a feeling. It's like, that's what life's about. When I get in my car, like my Chevelle, I'm driving and I hear the wind, or I'm in my Benz, it's like, dude, it feels good to think damn, 10 years ago, bro, I was catching the bus from the halfway house to the gym, showering at the gym, all my belongings in a duffel bag. And I was like always thinking about my wallet, losing my wallet or something. And I didn't have shit. I didn't even know where I was going to live at. And I was just like, man, but I was like, I got this vision of being successful. And so, when I hear your story, it's very inspirational, man. And to appreciate life, sometimes when you treat yourself to certain things, whether it's cars, watches, a nice pen, it's like, dude, you sign a multi-million-dollar deal with this pen, and that pen is like magical, man. You know what I mean? The ink flowing out of that thing is like, wow. People don't understand that.
You get it, yeah.
Yeah, it's a totally different feeling, man. And like I said, I can totally relate, man. And it's just amazing, and being around it, man. I get a high. Some people get high off of heroin. Some people get high off of meth or oxys. I get high off of cars and just holding the steering wheel and just.
They're like vessels to like experience the world in a different way.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can like wear a watch and feel like a superhero sometimes. Well, you're wearing like a Hulk right there already. It's important to know that you have good intentions and good perspective on the things we have. But as soon as you got those out of the way, it's really, these things they can't make your life, but they can certainly enhance it.
And the person behind them. Like I said, you guys just invited me to your house, man, and being able to share this quality time with you.
Don't forget the bagels as well.
The bagels. It's
my mom's like, we have to put bagels out.
It's just a blessing, man, and I really appreciate it. Now, how would you compare the Don to the Bentley GTC that you guys have?
So the GTC is my mom's car. It was her dream car, always. And she put like 50,000 on that. We got like 60,000 on the Phantom miles. Like obviously in retrospect on a Toyota Corolla, it's not like people are like, well, there's not a lot of miles, but in these cars it is.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable. That car you could drive. That's why it's got the word GT in it. It's a Grand Tour. You could drive that across the country and feel very comfortable and still do 200 miles an hour. It's an incredibly fast car.
Now, how would you, like, in comparable, like, people say, okay, Bentley GTC, Mercedes X63?
I don't know. What I like about the AMGs is, it's obviously going to be less flashy than a Bentley, and it has its own approach. But, there's nothing like a Bentley. There's a difference when something's handmade. When you have things like in the interior, for instance, there's the veneer or the wood. They literally book match it so that it's the same piece, like pattern wise, and they'll do it all the way to the rear of the interior. So you'll see the same line consistently matched through the entire interior. There's leather under the steering or on the steering wheel column where no one ever would put that stuff. It's all these details. That's really where it separates it. And it's 6,000 pounds and does 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a heavy car, man.
It's crazy. The roof is lined in with cashmere. It's all these it's a twin turbocharged 6-liter W12. That just sounds sexy when you say it. I don't know. All these. I love that cars are different. I'm not here to rag on an AMG. Oh, Bentley. Like the easy answers go, oh, Bentley's way better, whatever it is. I think it's great to have an old Porsche, like we talk about, you can't get turbo lag from an AMG or a Bentley.
Yeah.
So I think they're all honestly really great, but the quality, the price is not ridiculous. It's there for a reason. There's a degree of quality.
But that's the thing too. I don't want to say without saying is get that from you, because like people take cars based on the price and they try to say, oh, this costs more, but having driven these different cars, it gives you a different perspective, and then you can kind of see why maybe something costs more at the time it was purchased than the other car, even though they're both very high quality cars. And it's just like a lot of people they've never really driven out of cars. They just watch a review, and the review is kind of it's kind of empty. The review doesn't really give you the sense of why the depth of why that car is the way it is. It's just like we were talking. The Flying Spur, you guys had the Flying Spur, and I was saying, like, how would you compare that to, you're saying the Phantom, and you're like, dude, it's not a comparison. And I'm like, what? The Flying Spur, it's not a comparison?
Well, it's an easy choice, the Flying Spur, just like the Dawn. Like, you have anyone go, and they're like, dude, why would you choose this? Oh, the Dawn's like the shit. Like, why would you? And it's just like, when you get time to spend with these cars, and you see, like, the details and how they're put together, and how they run and operate on a daily basis, that's where it is. But honestly, with like the Phantom compared to the Flying Spur, the Phantom's just iconic. I mean, the Spur is a child of the
Oh
Phantom.
wow, yeah.
So it's like great. It's like me. I'm never going to be as cool as my dad. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe a Bentley at least. But
Yeah.
the Bentley Flying Spur is awesome though. That car is literally, I think James may, if you Top Gear people out there, he described the interior as a little too Liberace. So there's jewels. I thought it was the perfect way to describe
Liberace,
it.
yeah.
It's a little overdone, but all that detail is like insane.
Yeah.
Like you've seen, like there's leather work on there that you actually don't understand. Like there's geometric leather diamonds shooting out of the side of the door. Like you don't know how do they even do that? Or there's not a scent of plastic in the car. Every piece of plastic is either hidden with leather or it's not there in the first place. That's like the quality, and it looks really good. The shape of that Flying Spur is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's not too big like the Phantom.
And it's almost like that car, you know, you leave your house, you sit in the car and just be chilling. You don't have to be doing that, just chilling, because it's so like you're just sitting around looking at stuff, and it's so comfortable and it's so unique. It's like, dude, to hell with your apartment. I'm gonna go sit in the car and just hang out, you know. And so
Crazy.
it's like, you know, when you talk about quality and stitching, and that's one thing. Like interior makes a car. You know, it says
that's
a lot
where you
about,
spend your time.
That's where you spend your time at, you know. And so when you talk about interior, like, you know, it's the attention to detail, I think, is one of the most important factors outside of like the ride, the performance, and everything else. But you want to be, you know, you want to have that sense of like, wow, I'm not beat up. I get out the car and I feel like I'm just fresh, you know.
Oh, it's crazy. It's like you're in your own, like, I don't know, bubble. It's an isolating experience driving in these cars because they are so insulated. I mean, just to give you an example, we're talking about details. This will actually give someone like some reference. Like the Phantom, for instance, has 2 pane windows, 2 pieces of glass sandwiched together. It has, I think, 4 silencers on the exhaust to quiet it down.
My God.
The flooring is like double paned steel. The doors are just literally as thick as your front door. It's all of these like little details come into making the car quiet that you wouldn't even realize. It's insane, actually.
I was just showing Big Ant, like when you shut the door, you shut and the door shuts.
It's self-closed.
It's
yeah.
not like this old toy. You got to slap. I mean, the door, doop, doop. You know what I mean?
God forbid, you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Literally, like
Yeah.
a fart from the Queen
Yeah.
to close it.
Oh my God. Yeah, man. So, hey, you guys, we're going to get into these cars, man. And yeah, it's been a pleasure, Dylan, man, having you and your family host.
I think you're the one that should be interviewed, dude, because
Oh,
I don't
my
know
God.
if we're that impressive.
No,
your
man.
story is way more impressive, and
Dude.
thank you for sitting down with me.
I'm so glad we met. The universe brought us together. And you guys check out the links in the description. Check out his YouTube. Check out the information about their business. And make sure you subscribe. Big Herc 916, something from nothing.